welcome to another video. Welcome to another painting. If you're a subscriber, thank you for coming back. And if this is your first time viewing my videos, any of my paintings, well, welcome. And hopefully by the end of the video, you will convince enough to subscribe. I have a sketch of a lighthouse over here. We're gonna have a sunset sky, simple landscape. And I think it's easy enough for everybody to paint, and it's a nice scene. Definitely something that I haven't done on the channel yet. You will see a list of the colors that I use over here and a picture of a finished painting up there. I have toned the canvas with a mixture of cad orange and white just to expedite the painting and save us some time. You could paint on a white canvas, but I really suggest that you tone the canvas. And if you're not comfortable with sketching the lighthouse, you can print a picture of a lighthouse that you like and just use tracing paper to trace it onto your canvas. I have prepared pre-mixed paints over here. I have cad orange and white. I have ultramarine blue and white. I have red and white tinted to a pinkish color, and a darker mixture of orange, cad orange and white, but a darker value than this. I'm gonna use a flat brush. I'm gonna go ahead, paint the basic background for the sky. Mist the canvas a bit. Some moisture on the canvas will help move around the paint easier. If you work with oil, you use linseed oil or liquid gel, stuff like that. I'm gonna pick up some orangey mix. I'm gonna lose some of my sketch, but that's okay. I just put it there for guidance. Some glow over here. Now I'm gonna jump into my pinkish color. Come over here and apply that color over here. This is pinkish purplish color. I'm gonna go ahead, clean my brush, dab into that orange again, and come over here and blend these two colors together. The paint is wet, so it will blend one way or another. Get away. All right, back to blending business. More, jeez, too much. More of that color over here. Now I'm gonna dab into my purple and just finish the sky with that purple. And move it in to my pinkish color and blend the two. As I said, these paints are wet, so they have no choice but to blend. You know, they can't refuse blending. All right, our canvas is dry. By the way, I have this tape over here to set the horizon line. Now I'm gonna pick up a round brush or a mop brush, some gray and some purple mixed in. I'm gonna go ahead, drop a few simple clouds over here. I want dark clouds around the lighthouse, because we're gonna light this up, and having some dark around it will help us show the light inside the lighthouse. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint some clouds over here and get the dark around that lighthouse as well. And I'm gonna maybe start here. Let's see. You see that dark around the lighthouse will create contrast later on when we get to the actual lighthouse painting. And to get a soft transition. So is this the best way to paint this cloud? Probably not. And this is how how I paint them for now. If you know a better technique, you're more comfortable painting them differently, use the technique you're more comfortable with. And the technique you're more comfortable with is the best technique, if you're asking me, my opinion. And maybe I change in the future. Down here I'm gonna just put some indication maybe. Very subtle. And few here and there. Just patchy clouds. And I'm gonna dab into my sky color, which is orange in this case, and just blend this cloud into this area. Maybe darker here, lighter over there. Maybe we can bring this a little bit closer to this one, just for the looks. continuing with that sky color. Work it in, blending, building up, failing sometimes, correcting. That's the process, at least for me. Working a little of that pink on top, giving them some volume. Slowly they're making more sense, little by little. Applying some highlights to these smart clouds over here, blending it with some of the purple. Some clouds over here getting more light. Creating a little more interest. Over here we have trees, so it's gotta be covered. So I'm not gonna go spend time over here for no reason. Just indicating few small clouds, maybe getting more light. And bringing some of that pink, just blend it with the rest of the sky. And I would leave it at this. I don't want to overwork it, and I don't want to definitely start ruining it if it's not ruined already. Just a few highlights here and there. Some of these things are getting some light. Alright, so let's move to some background trees over here. I'm not going to remove the tape for now. Some background trees, And for those, we're gonna use mostly purple. It's a sunsetty look. We're not gonna use green. Alright, with some burnt umber, with some black, some of that purple, and maybe a little bit green, just a hint of green. We're gonna come here and just move in this motion, as you see. It's a sunset, so you know, I don't think green in the distance would make any sense. And I don't want to go completely black, like silhouette type of thing, so using some of this purple and burnt umber. See if we can get away with this color. And we're gonna come here all the way in the distance. And create these lovely trees. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and remove the tape. And with some green and black, sap green and black, we're gonna make it dark green. I don't want to go very light. This is a sunsetty look, so this kind of green, I don't think it would work with this kind of scene. So I'm gonna go and make a darker green and just block this area. Just gonna go ahead, block it, you know, drop a couple of trees. Now I'm probably gonna go ahead and use that tape and protect my lighthouse, because I don't want to lose that sketch. I'm just gonna put the tape right here. And go ahead, dab into my green and black and just cover this area with some trees. And just few other shapes here. Maybe we have a different tree here. I'm going to pick up a lighter green. Same color, different value. Add some orange to it and come here and just lay the land. Now I'm gonna go ahead with a little bit lighter green, some orange mixed in. Maybe we can even add some purple. Maybe even some purple. And I'm gonna go ahead, drop some highlights for these trees. Not much. Still in the distance. Not very close, not very far away. Just barely noticeable highlights. Some darker green for the bottom. Now I'm gonna switch to a round brush and I'm adding some yellow into that green. Get the excess paint off my brush. And just tap in here and get these bristles open up real good. And I'm gonna come over here and apply some highlights for this tree. And maybe with the darker green, some indication of foliage in the background. And just blend the whole thing together in the distance. Give it some distancey look. I'm gonna go back to my fan brush. Pick up some light color, some of that orange, some of that green. Apply some more highlights just to the top of these trees. Just like that. I'll remove the tape. And maybe we can even go ahead, pick up some of that orange, and maybe some of that sky color that we had right here. Just make a mix and come here and just in between these areas apply some indication of backlight hitting these trees. I don't want to overdo it, just some indication of maybe light coming through. If you feel like overdoing it, pick up some of that dark and go back to these areas and just fix a few spots, just like so. For the lighthouse, I'm gonna use some sienna mixed in with white, a lighter mix, and probably we're gonna use some purple in the mixture for the shadow side, and that color will complement the sky as well. So I have two mixes over here. And just go ahead, drop this color Can even bring some umber into the mix. See how that will work. Alright, so I'm gonna come here, pick up some of that purple. Create some darker color for this area. Using some black, indicate few details in the actual structure of the lighthouse. Indicating the few windows here. Applying some dark, some purple, a touch of burnt umber. And I'm gonna go back to my lighter mix, add some more white. And just bring this color back in here. And I'm just going to pick up a blender brush. Just get rid of that hard transition lines between these two areas. Give it a more natural look. And I'm going to probably let this coat dry and go over it again. Just build on these colors and apply few texture, few more details, but the idea remains the same. And come over here and just indicate the roof area. So I'm going to use some burnt umber and red mixed in. And more burnt umberish for this area. Okay, the roof of this house is gonna get same color as up there, and we're gonna go ahead, paint it red. And I'm gonna use a liner brush. Some more dark for under the eaves. Back and forth. Some umber for the shadow area. with my round brush. I'm gonna go ahead, pick up some of that green, mix it in with some black, and come here and apply an indication of a tree, maybe a few bushes right in front of this home. I'm gonna go ahead, pick up some of that orange again, mix it in with that green, maybe a touch of white, and create some highlights. I'm working at a weird angle over here. Let me just put this over here so I can rest my arm against. Alright. And you're gonna come here and indicate a few highlights. To these trees and shrubs. Maybe I even use some more orangey. Alright, so I have some burnt umber on my palette, and I have burnt umber and a tiny bit of black, darker shade of it, and I'm gonna go ahead work on these rocks in the midground and then move to the foreground. I'm gonna paint them impressionistically. That's how I do my rocks, and I'm gonna do a few of them so you can see the technique and how I do it. And I'm gonna work the rest of it either off camera, or I'm gonna speed up the video because it's gonna be same technique, same movement, just repetitive work. Alright, so I'm gonna come over here and basically I'm gonna use black for my very dark spots. I'm gonna use a mix of burnt umber and black for dark tone or mid tone, and then burnt umber and probably mix it with some white for highlights. So I'm gonna come here and start from this area, just applying dark right now, and this blackish brownish color is going to be basically the dark tone and the color that you're going to see between rocks basically. And pick up a lighter value of that umber and come over here and apply some highlights to these rocks. Let me do a few in the foreground so you can better appreciate. I'm gonna do a few in the foreground, just like so. Just applying the highlights, and immediately it makes more sense. Oftentimes when I paint these rocks, I have to go a little bit lighter with the highlights so the camera would pick it up. But in person, you know, you could see they're good enough, but so as you see, the dark that we put initially becomes the dark tone between the rocks. And just like so, you know, we highlight individually and very impressionistically. Now when you paint them, you could pick up some dark and at the same time apply some dark if you think it needs it. And some of that umber, we're gonna come here and create some land here. And continue to work on these rocks. Just same process, you know, same technique. Now I'm using umber and black here. If you can, if you want, you can use different colors to paint your rocks depending on the scene and the mood that you're trying to create. You can definitely change the color. As you see, I'm just going over them with some lighter value of that umber. Let's put some over here. Create some highlights. If you're new to my channel, I have a demonstration on how to paint rocks impressionistically, demonstrating same technique, more in depth. I'm gonna put a visual reference to that over here for you, and I'm gonna probably put a link at the end of the video. You know, go ahead and check that video, check it out. It's really informative if you want to paint rocks. Very impressionistically. So I'm going to continue with the foreground, and then I'm going to bring you guys back. We're probably going to go ahead and do another row of highlights for these rocks. I'm going to go ahead and paint this staircase as well over here with some black and some of that umber. Just an indication of this staircase over here. From the house to the beach. And something like this. And I'm going to continue with the rocks, and I'm going to bring you back. And I'm going to mix some of that color with some white, create some lighter value. And I'm going to come here and apply some highlight to this path as well. some darker for under the rocks. Going back and forth between umber, some umber and black. You can use raw umber, which is a bit darker value than burnt umber. And come here, just create some rocky. Now, if I want to create a rock over there, I'm just going to go ahead with some highlight, just like that. Create another rock. Super impressionistically done and very easy. Maybe some rocks over here on the path as well. Just have fun and do what you like. And we're going to pick up same color, come up here on this path, apply some highlight, stairs, whatever, and some up there. Picking up some green. I'm gonna come here, apply some lighter value over here, and maybe pick up some of that umber and make a dirtier green, and apply back there. Just blend it in. A little more green, and just bring it in between these rocks and stuff like that. Some impression of maybe some moss growing on them. Some impression of vegetation, I don't know. Just randomly applying this color around here. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and work on the sea. And I'm gonna put a masking tape over here so we keep that straight horizon line intact. Actually, let's see, yep. More so like this. Alright, for the sea, it's gonna be limited seascape. It's not gonna be like a major seascape here. It's part of the painting, but my action plan is to reflect the sky into the sea, but at the same time use some blue. I'm gonna use navy blue or just ultramarine blue and black mixed in together. I'm gonna make a darker value of that blue, as you see on my palette, and I'm gonna pick up that darker mix, and I'm gonna go ahead add some white into it and make a lighter value of that. So darker blue and lighter, some pink, some of that orange. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and start with the horizon, maybe even some straight white for the horizon. And the beauty of having this tape over here is that I'm not gonna be afraid going into the sky. I'm not gonna go ahead, paint the waves and stuff like that. I'm just gonna make it simple. It's not about the seascape. It's about the lighthouse. And right into the shore. blend it in. And some of those sky color. Alright, so let me just stop here and I explain something. I had a plan in the drawing to put a big wave over here and a boat, but sometimes when you finish a painting, well, it's half finished, but when you paint the scene you realize that some stuff may not work. So the idea of having a boat over here and the big waves doesn't work, and I'm gonna change the plan in here. I'm probably gonna bring some of these rocks into the ocean, somewhere around here, and make the rest of the water, bring the water up to the rocks, rather than having like a beach area. I'm gonna bring the water up to the rocks and create some other bigger rocks in the middle over here, and probably that way the foreground would be more interesting than having a big wave and a boat, which doesn't make sense. So that's what I did. I just put the underpainting for the ocean and some brown over here, some burnt umber. So I'm gonna go ahead, pick up some black and come here and just indicate some maybe larger, rocks. Maybe that's one over there, maybe one over here. Maybe we don't see all of it, and maybe another one here, right by this area, some bigger rock, and maybe one more down here. Sometimes you have to change your plan when you paint stuff that you thought it would make sense when you paint the scene, all of a sudden don't make sense. And problem with making these how-to videos is that it's difficult to paint something and then erase it and say, okay, no, that doesn't work, do it differently, because essentially I'm telling you do it this way, and then after a while when you watch 10-15 minutes of the video I tell you no, don't do it this way. So that doesn't make a good how-to video. But right now we can, it's not too late, we can change the plan. We're just changing the foreground a bit and bringing some of this blue. Maybe we bring some turquoise as well into the mix, just going back and forth between my darker blue and my lighter value. And bringing inland. Just gonna go ahead and paint a very calm ocean scene, making brushes, smaller brush strokes, very soft brush strokes, nothing fancy, mainly using ultramarine blue and white, and for a darker version ultramarine blue and black. In the foreground, as water hits these rocks, it's gonna create some foam, stuff like that, so we're gonna use mainly whitish bluish color, and maybe we can create some splashes of water, as I mentioned, by these rocks later on. this darker color as well. So unfortunately the idea of the boat wasn't working with this type of scenario. Some black, some brown, some touch-ups to these rocks. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and remove this tape. And we're going to get some of that sky orange and come up here. Just create some maybe shimmer into the ocean in the distance. And pick up some of that purple over there, and come here, just blend the two. Maybe it's reflecting into the ocean. Same idea like the other rocks. Not in the original plan, but sometimes you have to be flexible and change things. And working with some burnt umber and some sienna, I'm gonna go ahead and apply some highlights to these rocks, like the other rocks that we had over there. And this one as well. As I said, just same idea, same color. Very impressionistically, and soften a few. Maybe add some white into that mix and some highlights. Now I'm gonna go ahead, pick up some of that ultramarine blue and black, darker mix, add some white into that color, make a lighter version of it. And I'm gonna come here and indicate some indication of this water, maybe creating some foamy area. Now I'm gonna keep some of that dark ocean color. I don't want to get rid of all of that. And time to time I may even add into that darker blue and bring it in. And just blend it in with this lighter version. and bringing this water right into the ocean, to these rocks. A little more white. Some indication like smaller waves and stuff like that. And some more white in here. Some highlight to the color, to the water. I'm not keeping the brush strokes stay straight. I'm moving in an angle, you know, simulating some of these waves, stuff like that, this way, rather than just straight. Over here you don't have big waves, so alright, so I'm gonna pick up some of that white with a fan brush, and I'm gonna decide where I'm gonna get some splashes of water. I don't want to do it all over. No, maybe we do some over here. And with a blender brush, just soften the base. Something like that. Just using the corner of that brush. And maybe boom, 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 boom. And just soften the base. Bring it into the ocean. And maybe with that fan brush, create few splashes here and there. Just like so. And just soften behind it. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead, move to the lighthouse, or the light of the lighthouse itself. I'm gonna pick up a masking tape, and I'm gonna apply it at the bottom over here as an angle. I'm gonna pick up another one and come up here and apply over here, and you're getting the idea why I'm doing this. And maybe another one, small. Just want to get the angles about the same. And I'm gonna come up here and do something like that. Alright. I have a mop brush, and I'm gonna use my round brush. I'm gonna pick up some red. Put them on my palette. And I'm gonna pick up some light orange. Now for the light inside the lighthouse itself, I can later on go ahead and fix it. I'm not too worried about that, but I'm gonna put some red over here. And pick up some of that orange. put it in there loosely. I don't want a uniform coverage. Maybe a touch of white. Just put it right in the middle where the light actually is most intense, just like that. And pick up some of that orangey color and just blend that in. Now this is acrylic, and acrylic dries a little bit darker, and for the highlights you have to apply multiple layers. So once you're done with this painting, if you try to do it at home, let it dry, go over it again, let it dry, maybe go over it the third time, and your highlight's going to be more vibrant. Now I'm going to put some of that orange color over here, and I'm going to take my mop brush or blending brush, and I'm going to just go ahead and pull. And just pull. Just like that. Very softly. Get the excess paint off your brush. Go back again. And just pull. And each time you clean your brush, you're gonna pick up more paint. That the underpainting is dry, of course. So it just creates a nice illusion of light hitting, going into the sky. So some more orangey over here, maybe even add a touch of white over there, and go ahead and pull. Get the excess paint off your brush. And pull. If you need more, apply more. And go ahead and pull. Maybe a little more this side. Touch of white. Clean that mop brush with a rag. And pull. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead, remove the tape. And that's the effect you get. Now some of you guys mentioned that I don't do chimneys with my cabins and homes and stuff like that. So here we go. That's a chimney right there. That's a nice chimney for this home. Alright, so that would be the light for the lighthouse. I'm going to pick up some green. I hope you can see it. I apologize for the dirty palette. And we're going to come over here and apply some finishing touches, maybe some highlights to this area. Just indication, very loosely. We're going to paint this. Maybe some moss, maybe some vegetations growing in here, very loosely, in between these rocks over here. Maybe around here as well. using light green and sap green. And maybe I'm not gonna highlight back there because the shadow of the house and the lighthouse is there, but maybe around here, just some details in here. I'm using a small liner brush, by the way. Some highlights maybe over here as well. And with this, I'm gonna go ahead and call this painting done. I appreciate if you watched it all the way to the end, and I appreciate that you guys, choose my channel. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of art channel out there, and if you chose my channel and chose me to watch, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I really mean it. I'm not just saying to say it. And I hope you guys come back for more videos, and I hope you guys find some value in this painting. Maybe few mistakes that I made and you learn not to do it. Maybe few items that you liked and implemented in your paintings. Please like and share the videos if you want to support the channel, and also comment below. Let me know what you want me to paint, and let me know what you like to be changed. If any suggestion for the channel, all critiques and all suggestions are welcomed. You don't have to compliment all the time, and that's about it. Hopefully I will see you guys with a new painting soon. Happy painting, all the best for you guys, and keep on painting and keep on having fun. Take care and see you soon.